Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I am your host, J. Michelle, and today we are going to be talking about setting your children up for financial success. There is a lot of talk and discussion around generational wealth to the point where it's almost becoming a buzz phrase. And the reason why I say that it's becoming a buzz phrase is because I don't know that people really understand what generational wealth is. Generational wealth is not just a matter of me passing down money to my sons and my daughters. My husband and I, we have 6 children. And so that's 6 individuals that we're going to have to divide assets up to. However, even in what we provide to them when we leave this earth, that is not considered generational wealth. Generational wealth is wealth that will continue and be passed down for generations and generations to come. It doesn't stop at one line of generation. The Bible even talks about leaving an inheritance for your children and your children's children. When you think about generational wealth, you have to think beyond just one generation. And so when we talk about setting our children up for financial success, we have to lead from the perspective of thinking and considering generational wealth. And so today I want to provide 7 very foundational, basic things that you can do to help create generational wealth and set your children up for financial success. And so number 1, financial literacy. Financial literacy is something that you can do for free. There are a host of books that you can purchase. There's information on the website. There's free information, free webinars, free classes and trainings that you can provide for your children. One of the problems with generational wealth and why it's so difficult to create true sustainable generational wealth deals with financial literacy. If an individual does not know how to master money, because I come from a perspective of not managing money, but mastering money. In order to have generational wealth, you have to move beyond managing money. When we manage money, we're just simply trying to figure out from day to day, from week to week, month to month, what we're doing with our money, how we allot it, what bills we have to pay. When we get to the place of mastering our money, which comes through financial literacy, we are now positioning ourselves to make our money work for us. And so it's so important for us to ensure that our children are financially literate. Financially literate. And so again, it's going to be very important that you're exposing your children to things like what it means to have a job. While I absolutely 100% hands down am all about being a business person and owning a business and being an entrepreneur, work ethic is critical. So when we look at financial literacy, teaching our children to have a work ethic, teaching our children that the money that they make isn't just about spending, but how do they master that money? How do they take that money and put some to the side, give their tithes, be charitable, pay their bills? I suggest even having your children work in a family business. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. The second thing that you need to do in order to set your children up for success is have life insurance. Listen, life insurance is one of the most guaranteed ways to leave money to your children. I'm telling you, life insurance is one of the only vehicles, tools from a financial perspective that does exactly what it's supposed to do. It doesn't matter what you put into it or any of that. if you have life insurance, you have a life insurance contract, at the end of the day, when you pass away, you will be passing on tax-free, let me back up and say that again, tax-free money to your beneficiaries. And so one of the most basic ways to do that is through life insurance. Fact of the matter is, unfortunately, everybody just doesn't have a whole bunch of money just sitting around. Everybody doesn't have real estate. Everybody doesn't have stocks and bonds that they're going to be able to will out to their children. But at the purest level, you can at least have a life insurance policy. And you will never put as much in the life insurance policy as is going to pay out. So life insurance. The third thing that you can do, and this is something that I don't know that a lot of people do. And when I tell you this, a lot of people are probably going to cringe when I say it. But one of the things that you can do to set your children up for financial success is make them authorized users on your credit card. Yes, make them an authorized user on your credit card. Because when you put them on your credit card as an authorized user, you are establishing credit for them. We often talk about the fact that cash is king. And I also add in there that credit is the queen. We need to ensure that our children are set up to have good credit. And the way that we can do that is by making them an authorized user on our credit card. Now, don't make your kids an authorized user on your credit card. If you're going to max it out and not pay it, that's not going to help their credit. But if you are doing the right thing, which is paying your credit card off from month to month, you will be setting your child up for success. That when they turn 18, 19 years old, they will have opportunities. They will have options. They will be able to finance a vehicle if they choose to at little to no interest, using other people's money. That comes by way of having good credit. And the way that we can set our children up to have good credit is by making them authorized users. Business. Way that we can set our children up for financial success is teaching them how to start a business. You will hear me say this over and over again. Everybody needs to have at least some type of home-based business. And when you have a home-based business, you can actually pay your children to work in your home-based business. Well, when you pay your children or you have your children working in your business, you are teaching them business skills. You are teaching them how to become an entrepreneur. These are things that they're not teaching our children in school. The school system is set up to teach our children to go work for someone else. So who is going to teach them how to establish a business, how to create streams of income? That is our responsibility as parents. My daughter, my youngest daughter, she is 15 years old. And she's had all kinds of little business ventures, from making keychains to customizing clothing and all these different things. Now, she still hasn't found her niche, but the key is her mind is already in a position where she's not focused on going to work a job. The other part about having a business is, and this is on the parents, that is something that you can pass down to your children. Your children can't inherit your job. You can go work for a company for 40 years. You can't pass that on to your child, to your children. But if you have a business, your children can inherit your business. Real estate. That's number 5, real estate. If you have real estate, you can pass that down to your children, and that is a way to set them up for success. Not only can you pass down real estate to your children, you can also as a real estate investor, put your children's name on your real estate with you as a co-owner. That builds credit. And again, that also puts them in a position where they have property, they have real estate, purchasing land. Listen, I've been telling people, while it's absolutely like the thing to do to purchase real estate in the form of houses and condos and multifamily buildings, absolutely, but land is where it's at, because there's not going to be any more land built or created on the earth. And so land, property, these are things that can help your children be set up for financial success. Now, these last two things that I'm going to talk about are something that I don't believe we talk about enough in our community. And those are wills and trust. So having life insurance is great. And when you set up your life insurance, of course, you are going to identify beneficiaries, and whoever you identify as your beneficiary and the percentage that you identify, that money will automatically go to those individuals. However, that is not how it works as it relates to property, as it relates to money that you may have in the bank, investments that you may have, crypto, all of those different things that you may have. If you do not have a will, you have no assurance who that money is going to go to. You cannot automatically assume that when you pass away, all of your assets will automatically be transferred to your children. That is where a will comes into place. You need to get you a will. And while it is recommended that you get an attorney to work with you to get a will, you don't need an attorney to do a will. There are all different kinds of programs and templates out there where you can create your own will. You can have your will notarized and go through the proper processes and procedures, and it is a legal document. Please ensure that you have a will. There are countless examples of celebrities that have had millions of dollars, and when they passed away, there were people fighting over their money because they did not have a will in place. And when you don't have a will in place, that automatically means that, your property has to go through probate, and there's cost that's associated with that. And what can end up happening is your assets can be diminished because of all of the different taxes and different things that can happen when you may not have a will in place. By no means am I saying a will avoid you from having to pay taxes. What I'm saying is that a will ensure that the people who you want to get your assets, and we're talking about setting your children up for success, so a will ensure that your children are transferred your assets at your demise. Now, in a trust, I am not going to get deep into the details of a trust because I'm actually going to kind of get more into some deeper details in a different episode. But this is the key to having a trust. We talk about generational wealth, but here is the reality. While yes, I hands down 100% encourage you to have life insurance and to ensure that you have policies where your children are the beneficiaries. The reality is that if your children do not manage that money properly, that everything that you pass down to them, it can be wiped out in one generation. You can leave your children millions of dollars. That is a wonderful start. That is a great foundation. That, oh my goodness, how I would have loved to know. My parents are still alive. But I would love to know that I was inheriting millions of dollars, or that, my parents whose parents have passed away, inherited, millions of dollars, because that would have been a way to boost my financial situation, my children's financial situation. But again, here's the key to that. You can leave someone millions of dollars. You can leave them houses. You can leave them land. But if they don't know how to master it and steward it, it can be gone in one generation. This is the power of having a trust. Because when you have a trust that is in place, you can control how the money is distributed, when it's distributed, the circumstances of it from the grave. Yes, from the grave. You set up a trust. You ensure that the life insurance policies are in the trust. Your property is included in the trust. And you write out essentially a standard operating procedures that say this amount of money goes to this person, or this person can only get this money to do this, that, and the other. This is what the Rockefellers did. And this is why that family has a legacy and has generational wealth that is still there and that will continue. It's because of the power of the trust. But I'm not going to get into all the details of that because we are going to discuss that another time. But the bottom line is, if you want to set your children up for financial success, you need to ensure that they have the proper financial literacy that they need. Ensure that there's life insurance that is available to them. Make them authorized users on your credit cards. Start a business. Start a business so they can learn how to do business, and also they can inherit a business. Real estate, having a will in a trust, all of these things are very important if you want to set your children up for financial success. That's all I have for today. I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. And as I am going to say every time I close out, there is no shortage of wealth or resources in the planet Earth. The issue is education, knowledge, and awareness. And I'm just here to help ensure that you get that so that you can live a wealthy and prosperous life. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.